Well, it's come to the end of the year. This is a look back at the year of 2024 and possibly some predictions of 25.
This channel is about working on aircraft and flying those airplanes. So come take a seat and let's go for a flight.
Really nothing kicks off for the flying season until February, where the Aviation Expo happens in Puyallup, Washington.
So we pay our admission and our aircraft spruce. Gulf Coast Avionics.
Is your new engine? It's our display model.
And the inside of the cylinder. Out with an Allison turboprop. How cool is that?
This gives us an opportunity to sit in on some seminars and learn some new skills or information about flying in the backcountry or instrument ratings, stuff like that. It's also an opportunity for IAs to get their renewals done, and recruiters come out for pilots and for mechanics. So there's always a chance you're going to run into somebody you might know.
Tom Martin is filling in.
Hey, how are you?
This last year, I went and did a lot of research and put together a little how-to on a DIY METAR map so that you can present the weather in a format that you can clearly see if it's flying weather or not. I'm in the hangar making my METAR map. If you're not familiar with a METAR map, stay tuned. We're going to go through this step by step on how to make one of these METAR maps. We're going to punch all these holes, and then I'm going to have to go through and solder the lengths between the sections because the airports are spaced further apart than the LEDs can handle, and made a little trace. So this will actually be the wire hookup on the back of the board for the map. You should have your airport right through the middle here. So what you have here on the back of the LEDs are the positive power, the ground, and then a communication. They basically use the same programming hierarchy. Whenever you see one with the other, you can assume that it's the same chip. So I went and had. This is the steps that I've had to go through. This is how I'm going to go about doing it. And that was a lot of fun. So I'm planning on maybe doing a larger version of that. But that was a lot of fun and some really good information in that video. This year was the long-awaited return of the GA Day or the Community Day at Payne Field. And it was a rather good success considering the weather. It was kind of iffy in the morning, but a lot of people turned out. We had over almost 200 kids got rides for the Young Eagles, and it just turned out to be a really good success. And with that, I met somebody at the Community Day that got me involved in glider tow operations down at Bergseth Airport. We're about ready to hook up and do the first tow for the day. We're going to see the tow plane in action here in just a little bit. So here's the first. I'm going to go for my first ever glider ride. So let's go check this out. So what I found is it is very difficult to control a glider behind the tow plane.
regardless. And I wanted to touch down at the windsock. I was waving to him. Can't tell where the runway is.
That was a lot of fun, and I hope to continue, and here's a little prediction, maybe do some more glider tow operations this next year. So, but we got to get me checked out in some heel brakes. Earlier in the summer, actually it was July 4th, we went down to Nehalem Bay, pronunciation corrected, and we had a lot of fun camping at along the bay there, and the weather did not disappoint. So that was sort of an interesting takeoff and landing.
There's a whole field of cows right here. Holy cow. Destroyer traffic, set to present kilo, final 3-2. We'll stop Astoria. Oh, yeehaw. Fight it, fight it, fight it.
So
Yeah,
we made
baby.
it to Astoria. It's a little windy. It's actually starting to calm down just a little bit. So we got gas. We tried to get the courtesy car, but they only borrow it during the hours that they're open, and it's the 4th of July. And they wanted a $100 service fee for them to come out and give us the car.
I'm hungry, but I'm not that hungry.
Right.
Ooh, that was hard.
So for those who are not that close to me, actually got married this year in August, and Kim and I spent our honeymoon in Oahu, where we were able to work out our schedule enough to do a rental and fly an hour around the island. So we're here at George's Aviation in Honolulu, Hawaii. We've reserved an airplane and an instructor to do a sort of checkout, really more of a flight around the airport with a local, someone who's local, who's familiar with the weather and all the airspaces and everything. But we're going to get some great shots going around the island.
Wow, 4 right. We are cleared to line up.
241 for left kilo.
No, final is clear.
Contact ground point 9. November 6 Tango Alpha, runway forward at Foxtrot, clear for takeoff, wind 05016, depth 24.
4 right at Foxtrot. Beach, camera, action.
Magnum 9er, contact departure.
Alright, mixers, full rich, feels like it's both.
22 heavy, runway 8 right.
Our set. Your speed. Airspeed's aligned. Gauge 45. There's 55 and rotate. Nice and easy back pressure. And a little bit of forward. Climb us out at 74 knots. I don't know if you guys are big into plants, but there's a botanical garden in this crater right here. Oh yeah, I can see that. There's a different bunch of plants There's a giant area in the front with plumeria trees. If the plumerias are blooming, it smells amazing.
This is very similar as far as like an environment to our coast, but in like a different texture.
Yeah, you guys have like what's it called, gray colored beaches?
Yeah, gray and blue, where this is like blue and green.
Blue and green.
Yeah.
Clearing the Bravo North 6 and contact tower Cessna 76 Tango Alpha.
The steep turn.
You can execute a steep turn, get us going inbound. And I'm going to contact tower, put it ground. Right, Foxtrot cleared for takeoff, 066. Give me a into power.
274, visual on 274 Honolulu Tower, wind 05.16, runway 8 left, clear to land, traffic landing, runway 48, caravan, hold short.
Alright, we can add flat 20. That'll be our final setting.
Wind 326, traffic no factor, wind 0601.
Yeah, those winds are really pushing us this way, but you're looking good right now. You're looking really good. Patience hold.
Don't off all the park, the losses gonna follow us.
Nice landing.
Have a good day. Wind 12 heavy, wind 0.
And we're going to roll all the way down past Foxtrot onto Delta.
Right, clear for takeoff, wind 12 heavy. 459 heavy, runway 8 right, boys.
Nice landing.
That was a really good landing.
185 heavy, Honolulu Tower traffic on a 4.
That was pretty cool and pretty good landing on my part, I must say. So I was able to this year finally get to repairing the spinner. And that does two things. It makes the airplane look better, and secondly, makes it fly just a little bit faster. Once the spinner was complete, my friend Dan came over and we did an engine vibe, just to make sure everything was tuned up and running as smoothly as possible. I'm here with my good friend Dan, and he has graciously come over and helped me do a tack vibe check on Sheila. So, Dan, why don't you explain kind of your background and how you got into airplanes and...
Wow. I was a Marine for about 30 years. I worked in CH-53 helicopters, so that's where I learned all my vibration analysis and spectrum analysis.
That's pretty important on helicopters.
Oh yeah. So we would do blade tracking and vibe and balancing and things like that with a spectrum analyzer, and then we used all kinds of different systems, dynamic instruments and Chadwick Helmuth. So that's where I learned about balancing and vibration. And then
and how destructive it is,
and how horrible it can be on cracking main rotor blades and dynamic component wear.
Yes.
So vibration analysis and dynamic component wear is horrible, and the industry and the commercial side was very slow into the game. It was a lot of helicopters, a lot of jet turbines would do it, but GA, no one really thought about it. So a number of years ago, some smaller companies, Aces is one of them, Dynamic Instruments, Chadwick Helmuth, they got into doing prop balancing and using trim weights and things like that.
4-inch. Okay. Well, temperature is good. Coming up.
There we go.
Oh, that sounds much better. Yeah, it does. Okay. Okay. Coming down.
Well, unfortunately, with honeymooning and other things going on, there was too much on the plate to go to Oshkosh. But we did get a chance to go to Washkosh.
Are we gonna make this a good one? We got a lot of people watching.
Here's traffic Bonanza 00 Tango left base, runway 25, full stop Bears.
traffic 2 is left downwind 25, clear.
Yep, this is where we are for the day. Hope to be off by halfway down the runway, if not, cop power. Concrete traffic, Sentinel 9025, kilo, taking 25. We are departure to the west. Concrete. All right, ready? Power is in, heels down, airspeed's alive. There's the tail. 60. Oh yeah. All right, happy feet.
And I say Washkosh because that's a little get-together that happens up at Concrete every year. And this year wasn't as packed as it was the year before, but it was still a really good time. So as the flying year winds down in September, there's always Hood River. And I try to make this event every single year. It's a great weekend to go down and hang out and visit with people who are just as crazy about antique airplanes as I am. And this year, well, the smoke didn't really help, so I heeded my own advice and I didn't push trying to fly down there in really bad visibility. It was at this moment when we turned south and I could barely see downtown Seattle or downtown Bellevue, which normally you can.
So this is what I'm thinking.
Yeah?
This is really terrible visibility. I mean, it's still VFR, but this is not fun going across country. And my fear is that this is not going to get any better by Sunday.
Turning back?
Coming back, we might get stuck.
The further we go, the more I'm convinced that this flight is going to end back at Painfield.
I'm not really comfortable flying this in anymore.
Okay, well, we shouldn't go then.
But I'm saying, if we really want to go, we can drive. Just a hell of a drive.
Yeah, it is.
I knew I made a good decision because Olympia was just about to turn IFR. So we ended up driving. That ended up being a two-parter because of all the extra travel time, about 4 hours to drive down there. And I published the first half of that, but I'm still working on the second half because unfortunately somehow I lost almost half of the footage. A lot of the jib shots of going into the airplane and stuff, and it just disappeared. So I'm having a heck of a time trying to cohesively edit that video, but it is still coming out, so look out for that one. And with that, I want to thank you so much for being one of my viewers. And I hope that this video finds you healthy, happy, and I hope that 2025 is as good as you want it to be. In order to stay up on the channel, if you want to be notified of when the next video comes out, since I'm kind of sporadic these days about when videos are coming out, click the subscribe button. It doesn't cost you anything. And make sure that the all notifications are turned on after you click that button. That way you'll get a notification of when my next video comes rolling out. And with that, may all your flying be good flying. And in Orber,